Our story starts in a peaceful Florida town. A young kid named Rob resides in a tiny motel alongside his dad. On this particular morning, Rob arises and prepares himself for another day of classes. While anticipating the school bus, he chooses to take a brief stroll in the woods beside the hotel they currently live in. The surroundings are peaceful and quiet, while Rob gently strolls among the towering trees. As he wanders through the woods, the unexpected happens. Rob recalls a highly traumatic event from his past. A couple of months ago, his mom died. He recalls standing at her memorial, feeling isolated and crushed. Even today, that memory still hurts him profoundly. Yet instead of turning around, Rob continues wandering silently through the forest.
He abruptly spots something peculiar. Surrounded by the timber, there stands an old wooden house that appears totally deserted. It appears as though nobody has resided inside for quite some time. Intrigued to uncover what lies ahead, Rob gently steps closer toward the shack. Yet the second he approaches, he halts in pure disbelief. Just behind the old house, there rests a massive tiger, secured within a steel enclosure. The beast appears mighty and muscular, yet simultaneously, it seems confined and vulnerable. For a brief second, Rob and the beast lock eyes. It seems as though the tiger has already spotted him. Experiencing terror, Rob gently backs away. His chest begins pounding incredibly rapidly, and he concludes it is best to depart right away. Without losing another moment, he pivots around and sprints back toward the motel as rapidly as possible. Upon arriving home, Rob hastily snatches his bag and dashes outdoors to board the school bus. Yet the commute is rarely pleasant for him. Certain guys aboard the bus
chuckle at him and toss cruel insults at him over and over. Rob remains silent and refuses to reply. He just stares downward and attempts to tune them out. Abruptly, the vehicle halts at a different location. A fresh pupil boards the vehicle. Her name is Cena. The instant the tormentors catch her name, they begin giggling boisterously and tossing offensive remarks regarding it. Cena grows furious, yet she refuses to escalate the conflict further. Rather than debating, she calmly proceeds to a spot and takes a seat. Afterward that morning during class, the instructor is detailing the subject to the students. Yet Rob is hardly focusing on anything. His brain remains fixated upon the beast he spotted within the timberland. As the instructor speaks, Rob pulls out a sheet of paper and begins sketching the beast. Within his mind, the beast is no longer confined. He envisions the tiger roaming unchained and striding majestically.
Rob also recalls a detail regarding his mom. She was formerly highly skilled at shaping objects from timber. It remained among her greatest skills. She actually showed Rob ways to sculpt tiny timber statues. Reflecting upon these memories leaves Rob feeling simultaneously joyful and sorrowful all at once. Abruptly, the instructor speaks Rob's name. She informs him that the headmaster wishes to meet him inside his room immediately. Puzzled, Rob rises up and exits the room. He possesses zero clue why he was summoned. Upon arriving at the headmaster's room, the headmaster instructs him to take a seat before closely examining his limbs. Quickly, it grows apparent that Rob possesses a severe dermatological condition. Due to this ailment, his limbs frequently become inflamed, tender,
The headmaster
and
clarifies that
damaged.
certain parents within the district have begun to worry. They fear that their kids could contract the exact issue if they remain near Rob for excessively long. The headmaster instructs Rob that he needs to continue using the medication that was lately prescribed to him. Next, he states he intends to draft a note for Rob's father. Within the note, he intends to recommend that Rob ought to remain at home for a bit until conditions improve. Upon receiving this, Rob calmly exits the room. As he strolls down the corridor, he spots a female instructor whose texts and documents have tumbled onto the ground. Without hesitating twice, Rob swiftly dashes across and assists her in gathering everything back together. The instructor grins kindly and expresses gratitude for his assistance. She presents herself as Miss Mills. Next, she spots the document Rob is grasping within his grasp. Intrigued, she questions him regarding
a highly timid kid, yet he gently passes the sketch toward her. As Miss Mills views the artwork, she becomes fascinated. It depicts a sketch of the beast Rob spotted within the woods earlier this day. She informs him that he remains incredibly gifted and commends his artistic abilities. Seeking to motivate him, Miss Mills advises Rob that he ought to continue sketching and keep refining his talent. She further notes that she intends to take a brief absence, yet upon her return, she wishes he would visit and display more of his artwork. Rob agrees and vows that he shall. Shortly afterward,
Rob lingers outside the educational facility for the afternoon to conclude. He waits calmly beside the doorway while pupils start exiting their classes. Abruptly, he spots a cluster of youths running through the playground. They remain pursuing the fresh student,
mocking her and ridiculing her name over and over. Upon enduring their insults for excessively long, Cena ultimately drops her tolerance. Furious and exhausted from the tormenting, she abruptly turns back and strikes one of the females. Yet the female she strikes is significantly larger and more mature than her. Inside of moments, she shoves her away aggressively, and Cena tumbles to the dirt. Observing this, Rob grows anxious. Although he feels terrified, he dashes toward them to halt the scuffle. He commands the tormentors to abandon Cena completely and cease harassing her. Yet this merely worsens matters. Presently, the tormentors shift their focus towards Rob. They begin advancing towards him, prepared to strike him as well. Recognizing this, Rob swiftly dashes off before they manage to capture him. Shortly afterward, Her garments
Cena
are
boards the
disorganized
transport.
and her locks are completely out of sorts following the brawl. As the remaining pupils notice her looking this way, they begin chuckling and crafting insults once more. Experiencing fury and humiliation, Cena strolls toward the rear of the vehicle and takes a seat beside Rob. She begins venting regarding how much she despises the city and the disrespectful youths who reside inside it. Rob attends calmly. Next, he attempts to make her feel slightly better. He tells her regarding the issue involving his limbs and clarifies that he possesses a dermatological issue that frequently creates sores and discomfort. Cena abruptly has a thought. She claims that if Rob's issue can be transmitted to her, perhaps she will similarly be required to remain at home and won't need to visit class anymore. She actually asks Rob whether he can somehow transfer the illness onto her. Yet Rob gently clarifies that it fails to function that way. His illness is not communicable, hence nobody else could
Cena
acquire it.
feels slightly sorry for him. She tells Rob that if he must remain indoors from class, she shall carry his assignments to him so that he doesn't slip backward in his academics. Later that evening, Rob's dad received the notice sent by the headmaster. The moment he completes reading it, he grows incredibly furious. He cannot comprehend how the headmaster remains concerned about Rob transmitting his illness to fellow pupils. Rob's dad has previously clarified multiple times that the issue is not communicable, yet the academy continually refuses to listen. Regardless, he concludes that it may be wiser for Rob to remain at home for a bit. Following that, he delicately administers medication into Rob's limb to assist healing his ailment. Next, he heads toward the kitchen to resume making supper. Later that evening, Rob rests silently inside his room, engaging in one of his preferred pastimes. Utilizing a tiny blade, he begins crafting a fresh shape out of a block of timber. As he works, his mind stays focused upon the image of the creature remains exceptionally vivid inside his thoughts. As he keeps sculpting, he resolves to create a tiny timber statue that resembles Cena. Upon completing his task, Rob lies down on his bed and slowly drifts to sleep. Throughout the evening, he experiences a bizarre dream. Within his dream, he spots Cena sprinting unbound across the woods, yet she is not alone. She is riding atop the massive tiger, moving swiftly past the trees, as if they both fit perfectly there. The following morning, Rob assists around the motel where he resides. He labors alongside Willie, the kind maid who cleans many of the suites. After laboring for a bit, Willie opts to take a brief rest. She grins and offers Rob a piece of gum as a little reward. A couple of hours later, the transport bus drives
Rob is
past the
outdoors
motel.
tending to the tiny garden. When the tormentors aboard the bus spot him, they instantly resolve to harass him once more. One of them tosses an item directly at him. The item strikes Rob powerfully in the ribs, inflicting a piercing ache. Rob grips his torso and feels furious and exhausted from consistently being abused this way. For a brief second, he begins envisioning something distinct. He visualizes what it might be like if the beast he discovered inside the woods could assist him in fighting back against those tormentors. Shortly after this, the bus halts nearby and Cena steps down. She wanders over toward Rob and passes him the assignment that was assigned in class that morning, exactly as she vowed. Rob expresses gratitude and next resolves to reveal something crucial to her. He informs her regarding the beast he uncovered within the woods. The instant Cena learns this, she grows highly thrilled. She instantly requests Rob to guide her there clarifies
so
that
she
the
can
beast
view
is
it personally.
far within the woods. Thus, they must trek across the timber to access it. Prior to departing, Cena requests if she might borrow a few of Rob's garments. Thus, the pair of them dash into the inn and enter Rob's dad's chamber. While pausing, Cena spots numerous tiny timber figures positioned across the chamber. They were all sculpted by Rob. She observes them intently and is highly amazed by his craftsmanship. While appreciating the figures, she tells Rob that the renowned creator Michelangelo was originally a carver before he grew famous as a creator. She grins and assures Rob that he is a true creator as well. Next, she abruptly discovers a timber statue that appears identical to her. It represents the tiny figure Rob sculpted the previous evening. Cena giggles and remarks that all of his
such
artwork is
numerous praises leaves Rob feeling bashful, and he lacks words to express himself. To speed matters along, Cena prompts him to retrieve the garments she requested. Rob swiftly passes them to her and steps outdoors to pause. Following a couple of moments, everything is prepared. The two pals next proceed into the woods together until they arrive at the shack where the beast is contained. When they finally pause outside the enclosure, both of them are astounded. The beast appears massive and imposing, even while confined past the steel grating. Cena gazes at the beast and questions Rob why such a majestic animal is secured inside an enclosure amidst the woods. Rob states he is not positive, yet he assumes that the beast could pertain to Beauchamp, the proprietor of the inn where he resides. Learning this leaves Cena highly furious. She argues it is incorrect for anyone to hold a feral beast contained like this.
The beast merits being unchained.
Rob concurs with her, yet he clarifies that releasing the creature will not be simple. The enclosure possesses a highly tough lock, and they lack anything that might crack it apart. Right then, they detect the noise of a car approaching nearer. It is Beauchamp driving toward the shack. Avoiding getting detected, Rob and Cena swiftly dash off across the woods. Upon arriving back at the inn, Rob's dad is already there awaiting his return. Rob presents Cena to his dad. Following greeting him respectfully, Cena steps toward a nearby call box to dial her folks so they can arrive to collect her. In the meantime, Rob's dad converses alongside his kid. He inquires regarding the fresh female and feels pleased that Rob has ultimately gained a pal to pass time alongside. A little bit afterward, Rob hands Cena's garments back to her. The pair of them pause
a vehicle
together
stops outside the inn.
It is Cena's mom. The instant she exits out of the vehicle, she begins reprimanding Cena for vanishing for numerous hours. Next, she spots that her child is donning somebody else's clothes and requires to know the reason. Yet, Cena is not intimidated by her mom's stern demeanor. Attempting to soothe the conflict, her mom shifts to Rob and clarifies that Cena normally only obeys her dad. Learning this merely leaves Cena additionally frustrated. The dispute between parent and child becomes noisier. Ultimately, Cena furiously climbs inside the vehicle and the pair of them depart while still bickering. Rob observes them depart, feeling puzzled regarding everything that lately occurred. Following that, he calmly heads back inside the inn. The following morning, Rob is once more assisting Willie with the tidying tasks around the inn. While they are laboring, Rob questions her regarding something that she believes regarding creatures being placed in enclosures by people. Willie halts for a second, and next recounts a story from her youth. She tells Rob that back when she remained a young female, her dad once presented her a tiny emerald fowl as a present. She adored the fowl and appreciated its presence daily. Yet, following some duration, she began feeling sorrowful witnessing the fowl confined inside an enclosure. She felt it merited being unbound. Thus, one afternoon, she quietly unlocked the enclosure and allowed the fowl to soar off. When her dad discovered this, he grew highly furious and disciplined her severely. He informed her that through freeing the fowl, she had merely turned it into simple prey for a reptile somewhere within the woods. Yet, even after learning that, Willie claims she never
even now,
she occasionally dreams regarding that tiny emerald fowl soaring somewhere within the heavens and chanting joyfully. Later that afternoon, Rob is scrubbing near the edge of the inn when he abruptly arrives face to face with the inn proprietor, Beauchamp. The male summons Rob nearby and claims he possesses a tiny task for him. He informs the child that if he assists him, he might even gain some cash. Rob is slightly puzzled, yet he agrees to hear. Beauchamp next clarifies that a couple of days prior, he caught a highly unique feral beast, yet the beast requires nourishment and everyday attention, and the male doesn't wish to handle the effort personally. Thus, he questions Rob whether he might want to assist in caring for it. The instant Rob learns this, he already comprehends which beast the male is discussing. Regardless, he behaves as if he doesn't understand a thing. Rob tells the proprietor that he cannot depart immediately, since his dad requested him to assist Willie with the tasks at the inn. Yet Beauchamp
states that Rob's dad holds no power above him and commands the boy to accompany him instantly. Experiencing pressure, Rob tails him. Shortly, they reach the shack within the woods, where the beast is confined within the enclosure. Rob fakes to act shocked when he spots the creature. Beauchamp boastfully clarifies that somebody who owed him a huge amount of cash handed him the beast as settlement. Presently, he stores the creature there. Next, the male demonstrates to Rob how to nourish the beast. While performing this, the beast abruptly leaps toward the enclosure barrier. The action frightens Beauchamp intensely, and he drops backward in terror. Rob nearly chuckles at the instant, yet swiftly restrains himself.
Beauchamp hands Rob a bunch of openers and informs him that from here on it shall remain his duty to nourish the beast. While departing, the male ridicules the beast and labels it worthless, yet the beast abruptly responds. It sprays excrement toward Beauchamp, drenching him within the filth. The male begins yelling in disgust and swiftly dashes off with Rob. Upon returning to the inn again, Beauchamp stops and cautions Rob regarding something crucial. He commands the kid to maintain everything a secret. If anyone discovers anything regarding the beast, it might create massive issues for him. Next, he hands Rob a plastic sack containing uncooked flesh for the beast and vows to deliver extra the following morning so the boy can continue feeding the tiger. Right then, a vehicle drives past. It is Miss Mills, Rob's instructor. She reduces speed of the vehicle when she spots Beauchamp pausing there, appearing filthy and doubtful.
Rob swiftly tells her that everything is okay. Beauchamp next abrasively commands the instructor to mind her personal affairs and depart. Prior to heading off, Miss Mills stares at Rob and prompts him to attend her room once he heads back to class. Following her departure, Beauchamp intimidates Rob once more, commanding him never to tell anyone regarding the beast. Afterward, Rob conceals the sack of flesh somewhere within the inn, since he doesn't want his dad to discover it. Once the flesh is concealed, he stares at the openers Beauchamp handed him. While he gazes at them, a query continues racing past his thoughts. Ought he utilize the openers to release the beast? Directly at that instant, the transport vehicle drives past the inn once more. Cena shortly encounters Rob outdoors, and she thrillingly tells him that she wishes to swiftly dash through the woods and reach the enclosure. When they show up, Rob concludes he cannot maintain the mystery any longer. Thus, he tells Cena everything that occurred involving Beauchamp and clarifies that he has been instructed to nourish the beast. Learning this leaves Cena highly thrilled. She claims that this alters everything, since presently they possess the openers. That signifies they can finally unlock the enclosure and release the beast freely. She further clarifies that creatures like that beast are unique and ought not be held contained. Yet, Rob is not entirely convinced regarding the plan. He recalls the story Willie shared with him regarding the fowl she freed. Thus, he clarifies to Cena that if the beast is set loose, it may not endure by itself in nature. Still, Cena declines to believe that. She firmly feels the beast merits liberty regardless of anything. Next, she forms a daring choice. She tells Rob that she will perform whatever is necessary to release the beast, even if she must execute it entirely.
Cena abruptly seizes the enclosure and begins rattling it in anger. Her fury swiftly transforms into sorrow, and she starts to weep. Observing this, Rob tenderly attempts to soothe her down. Following a couple of moments, Cena clears her weeping and resolves to perform something minor to help the beast feel happier. She peels back the tarp that had been blanketing the roof of the enclosure so the beast can sense the crisp breeze and view the heavens. That evening, Rob and Cena lingered there next to the enclosure. The two pals rest upon the earth, silently observing the cosmos while the beast slumbers closely. Following a bit of duration, they head back to the inn. As they show up, they surprisingly encounter Willie, the cleaning maid. Cena remains frustrated, yet addresses Willie
doesn't grow furious whatsoever. Rather, she peacefully converses with the female and tells her that she comprehends how she feels. She clarifies that back when she remained youthful, she was similarly highly defiant and regularly behaved in the identical manner. However, Willie further offers her a crucial bit of guidance. She notes that Cena cannot continue behaving based on fury because existence will not solve her issues for her. She must discover ways to manage herself and confront matters peacefully. Receiving these statements leaves Cena utterly mute. A moment later, Willie climbs inside her car and speeds off, while the pair of youths silently view her departure. Later that evening, Rob heads back inside following bidding farewell to Cena. The minute he walks in, his dad challenges him. He is gripping the plastic sack that held the uncooked flesh. The male furiously demands of Rob where that foul flesh originated.
The mystery, Rob declines to deceive. He tells his dad that Beauchamp handed it to him. Yet, rather than soothing down, his dad grows additionally furious. He assumes that Beauchamp delivered the spoiled flesh as a malicious prank, as though they remained so impoverished that they might consume anything. Experiencing humiliation, he tosses the plastic sack onto the barrier in anger.
Following that, he takes a seat, attempting to soothe his temper. Rob grows anxious regarding his dad and steps nearer to converse alongside him, yet the son informs him he wishes to be granted privacy. Thus, Rob calmly steps outdoors. To soothe his thoughts, he begins sculpting an additional timber shape, a task he constantly loves performing. The following morning, Rob pauses outside his chamber, gazing at the timber creature he sculpted. Within his mind, the tiny shape springs to reality.
Rob presents Willie a timber fowl that he sculpted as a present. The lady grins kindly and feels highly pleased to acquire such a considerate offering. Shortly following that, the transport vehicle shows up once more and Cena steps down. When she encounters Rob, she tells him that her mom is growing increasingly furious regarding her attitude. Actually, her mom has banned her from traveling to visit him any longer. Yet Cena has already resolved that she shall ignore that command. Rather, she questions Rob where Willie is located. She claims they ought to seek Willie for guidance regarding what to execute with the beast. When they ultimately locate Willie, the pair of youths clarify everything regarding the beast confined inside the enclosure. Initially, Willie refuses to trust their story. Thus, Rob and Cena lead her into the woods.
When Willie spots the massive beast confined inside, she grows enraged. She claims that holding a creature like that contained away is precisely the sort of action Beauchamp might perform. Cena swiftly questions Willie about what they ought to execute and informs Rob that he ought to unlock the enclosure instantly. Yet Willie halts them. She notes that although Beauchamp is not a decent individual, releasing the beast might not be the correct choice. The beast has been surviving in confinement, and if it is abruptly freed into nature, it might fail to endure by itself. Yet Cena fiercely objects. She furiously claims that feral creatures are intended to survive unbound entirely, like the leopards that currently roam in that region. She feels the beast will learn ways to endure. Willie hears them out, yet peacefully shares something crucial. She tells the youths that occasionally, the correct choice is not continuously the most secure one, and due to that, she feels they ought not become
grows
tangled in a
additionally
matter so
frustrated following learning this. She claims she cannot hold off for her dad to show up since she remains confident he will concur with her and assist her in setting the beast loose. Yet Rob abruptly states a thing that shocks her. He tells Cena that perhaps her mom is accurate regarding her dad. Perhaps he is not the individual she assumes he represents. Those phrases leave Cena incredibly furious. She experiences pain and deception. Within her fury, she terminates their bond and yells that she despises him and never wishes to converse with him ever. Next, she marches away. Observing Rob pausing there miserably, Willie gently prompts him to accompany her so they can travel back toward the inn. Yet following a couple of moments, Rob spots Cena strolling off in the horizon. He abruptly dashes to catch her. When he catches up with her, he states he has altered his decision and is prepared to release the beast. Cena refuses to trust him initially, yet Rob maintains that he remains earnest. He claims he is prepared to execute it for their bond. Right then, Bam abruptly shows up inside his vehicle. Following quickly presenting himself to Cena, he hands Rob an additional command. He commands the kid to retrieve an additional parcel of flesh that shall show up at the inn shortly. Rob calmly concurs, so he doesn't spark any doubt. Bump next states he holds some affairs to resolve alongside Rob's dad and speeds away. The instant he departs, Rob and Cena comprehend they finally possess their opportunity. They swiftly run across the woods and arrive at the beast's enclosure. Without losing any moments, Rob pulls out the openers and unlatches the tough locks individually. Although they understand the beast has lacked nourishment for 2 days, they nevertheless resolve to unlock the enclosure. The beast gently rises up. Rob steps backward and boldly tells the creature that it remains unbound now. Cena tenderly tells Rob to settle down, noting the tiger already understands. The massive creature gently strolls out of the enclosure. It halts for a second, right next to the pair of youths. For a short moment, Rob and Cena cautiously brush the beast's coat. Next, the mighty tiger pivots and starts advancing toward the woods, letting out a bellow that reverberates across the whole landscape. Rob and Cena observe it run far into the woods, feeling honored that they executed the correct action. Yet, abruptly, everything alters. A deafening gunshot reverberates across the breeze. Cena catches the blast and abruptly drops toward the earth, gasping to inhale from the terror. Puzzled and terrified, the pair of youths dash toward the street. There, they spot something devastating. Rob swiftly comprehends what occurred. His dad discharged the weapon to guard Beauchamp, who was assaulted and thrown backward by the beast. At that instant, Willie similarly shows up. Rob crouches next to the beast and questions his dad why he executed it. Yet the reality proves to be separate.
Rob's dad clarifies that the event was basically a mishap. Previously, Beauchamp had engaged in a fierce dispute alongside him and even attempted to fire at him using his weapon. Amidst the commotion, everything unfolded too quickly, and the blast that struck the beast was never intended to occur that manner. Although his dad clarifies this, Rob remains consumed with fury and sorrow. He runs toward his dad and begins shoving him, yelling that he despises him and doesn't wish to reside with him any longer. Next, Rob requests something he has awaited to hear for a massive period. He commands his dad to finally utter his mom's name.
Afternoon she perished, his dad has refused to utter her name. Recognizing how immense agony his muteness has inflicted, the male ultimately utters her name, Caroline. The instant he utters it, he collapses down tearfully and embraces his kid firmly. Closely, Willie tenderly embraces Cena to soothe her following everything that merely occurred. In the meantime, Rob's dad assists Beauchamp rise up. Having nothing extra to state, the inn proprietor calmly departs the area. Willie next gently tells the youths that the beast is currently in a superior location. While she gazes at Rob, she spots something astounding. The injuries upon his limbs appear to be recovering much faster presently, which makes her incredibly pleased for him. Following bidding farewell to the beast, everybody slowly departs the landscape. Cena next shifts to Rob and expresses regret regarding everything she stated previously. She tells him that he remains the finest pal she could possibly possess. While they stroll together, they locate the artwork Rob created of the beast previously. Cena observes it and claims it remains a
grins and tells her she might retain it. To express gratitude, Cena hands Rob a gentle peck upon the face. Next, the pair of pals stroll off together. Although the afternoon concluded with sorrow, it similarly altered their existences eternally. Since, in the close, liberty signifies something different to everybody. And perhaps the beast ultimately discovered a location much superior to that solitary forest land.
What did you think of Rob and Cena's decision? Did they do the right thing by freeing the tiger, or was Willie right all along? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this emotional journey, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you never miss another movie breakdown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next recap.